What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to be real here and say I was honestly not thinking about doing a review on Season 8, as I did end up talking about like the playlist and stuff like that. I was going over the challenges and the actual playlist itself and talking about different things about the update. But I was like, you know what, let me go over like an overall view of this and give you guys my honest thoughts, as I did end up doing this in Season 7. So I'm like, you know what, let me just do it with this one. You know what I'm saying? Also, I am planning on a second video here going over some of my main thoughts about the ranked grand races, so do stay tuned for that. Most likely dropping tomorrow is the plan, at least. But either way, though, guys, Season 8 did end up dropping in Motorfest. It's now been out for a little over a week now. We all do know the first week was honestly probably one of the buggiest launches ever, which I'm sure you guys probably did end up seeing that video. Like, we all do know this season seemed to be one of the most broken that we have ever seen in Motorfest. I mean, heck, bro, even Grand Racing was broken for an entire week, which is literally the game's main game mode for that matter. So that's kind of insane. But with Season 8, guys, there will be a few main things you probably saw in this update. Number one that they advertised tremendously was the biggest thing players have been wanting for around 9 years now. And that will simply fall down into the fact of being able to change your wheels with actual wheels, you know, real ones, and also being able to change the materials of them. Then finally, you can stance your car, guys. So a lot of people are like, yo, we finally got wheels in the game. This is the best game ever. And I'm going to be 100% honest. This is very cool. Do not get me wrong, guys. I will never complain about customization, especially real wheels. This is awesome for sure. Again, though, players have been asking for this for I think it's literally been like 8 or 9 years now, pretty much since the Crew 1. Earlier days in the Crew 2, I saw so many people asking to be able to, you know, change their wheels and stuff like that. And yeah, now you can finally do it. So you can pick your wheel here. You can then customize it. You could do the different colors on it and stuff like that. And the actual colors of the wheels look good, which is kind of surprising. You can also change like the wheel size more and stuff like that now when you're customizing them, which is nice. Go over to the rear one here, you know, make that bigger. The other part with that, though, is you can also stance your vehicle. Now, a lot of people are talking about the wheels in the game. If you are wondering, there's basically a few manufacturers here. HRE BBS only has 3 wheels, which is kind of unfortunate. I do admit HRE seems like it's the biggest sponsor. Also, Ivory Tower wheels, which some of these don't look too bad, I would say. I hit the wrong button. Heading back over here, you can then do the stance on your vehicle, which a lot of people have been talking about. Can lower it down a bit. I won't go too much with it so it doesn't look too weird or like, you know, make the tire super far in. I could bring that one out maybe just slightly, just like that. Make it look a little bit different so it stance there. And that's kind of what you can do with most of the cars, guys. So if you do want to spend hours on end doing that to your vehicle, you can easily go in, stance them, add some wheels to each vehicle. So yes, that is easily one of the biggest highlights of the update. And I feel like a lot of people will love it. The issue, though, long term, like, this is cool for right now. The update's been out for a week. But I would probably say give it like another week or so. And I'm sure every single Instagram comment section will end up being full of, yo, add this car to the game. You know what would make this game better? The SVJ. Also, can we get 1,500 other vehicles added? And then I'm sure somebody might pop in and go, can we please get the LFA? Like, it probably won't end, and it will most likely pop up pretty quick. As I would say, a lot of players are enjoying the customization. I mean, heck, guys, for me, this is great. But it also made me go back and go, oh, yeah, I've been doing this in Need for Speed for like 10 years now. I know it's different games and all that stuff, and I do know they're obviously not similar, but I also understand going back and playing some of those games that, like, adding customization to this game, to be real, they were kind of late. And I feel like the painted wheels should have been a thing in the Crew too, but at least we do have it now, and players can finally customize it. Also, am I? Oh, hold on a second, y'all. Um, is that floating, bro? It, am I tripping? Okay, so I backed out of the lobby and then joined back in to see this to make sure maybe the car was glitching out, guys, but no. Look how that's connected. So the wheels are connected via Bluetooth in there. The suspension's going through the brake caliper. I'm seeing some, what in the world is going on back there, bro? I actually thought I was tripping out when I saw this, but no, dude, that's super glitched out. Also, guys, I'm going to say right now, this is probably not the only car that is completely glitched out with its design like that. Let me know if there is more of them, whether it's clipping other things. Also, let me back out real quick and go into photo mode. I want to see if it's also bugged out when you're driving it. Maybe it's just in there. Oh, no. No. It's still broken. Look at that. Oh, man, dude. What in the world? The suspension's going through the brake. Bro, what? And it's not even connected. It ain't even connected. Look at that. It's literally Bluetooth. I have a Bluetooth wheel. This car is legit meta, and I think we know why it's meta now. I think I just figured out why this car is meta, bro. Does that look right to y'all? What? Okay, but besides how broken that car was with the suspension and brakes and all that, which I did not even notice before, but I'm sure everyone gets the gist of it, how the main part is the customization. With that, we will also have the brand new playlist. Now, I did talk about this in a separate video, guys, but I'll give you a quick rundown. It will end up having 8 events in here. Some of the rewards players aren't the biggest fan of. Let me know your thoughts. I kind of feel like they could have did a bit better with the rewards on the tree here, because honestly, some of these don't look that good. The events themselves, though, were pretty dang fun. I did like them. I do know some players didn't like the flare races as they were kind of odd, or, some of the courses on there, like the jumps and some of the track areas weren't all that thought out, I guess is what people were saying. But overall, though, I did enjoy what they were trying to do, and I feel like this playlist was a good step in the right direction. At least trying to mix up the events and make it interesting. The storyline in the actual playlist was interesting as well. What I mean by that is the cutscenes and what they were trying to capture. Funniest part is I kind of got the biggest Need for Speed Heat vibe from this entire playlist. Whether that was like the coloring, the way like when you started before a race, or even trying to be in the garage customizing your vehicle, definitely gave me some Need for Speed Heat vibes. And don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing. And I do feel like players would like this playlist. But as I did say in that video, though, I do wish it was honestly a bit longer, or at least they'd give you a huge incentive to play through the playlist more and actually do it, instead of like a one and done type of thing. Because honestly, guys, the biggest issue with these playlists, I've said this in old videos, though, and stuff like that, but to be honest, man, like, they're cool for about 45 minutes to maybe an hour, depending on how fast you do it. And some people can be like, well, Blocked, you have to take your time. I did. And it still took 45 minutes to do it. And the thing is, though, I have been noticing a lot of other players also kind of mentioning something similar. Like, some of these playlists are really cool, and I feel like the Street Riders is one of the better ones. But I do feel like they will suffer from the same fate most of the other ones do. Basically, any playlist that comes out is it will basically keep a player's interest for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. If you do every challenge, you might have around 2.5 hours if you take your time with the challenges. I kind of speed ran the challenges, but to be real, guys, they weren't that difficult. So, I still got them done in like an hour and 20-ish minutes. Legit just casually going through them. I wasn't rushing. I was just doing each challenge, having issues with some of them. And that was kind of it. Like, it is a good playlist, but the issue is they are really short and they don't really bring players back into it. You know what I mean? So once it's done, you're like, oh, okay, like this is obviously a 4-month update, or like a seasonal update that's 4 months. And we will get another playlist. I think the BMW one in what, like January or something like that. That one will also end up being 8 to 10 events is my guess, focused on BMW as they mentioned. But I just feel like having one playlist released like that and then 2 months later releasing another one, where that playlist will normally last maybe an hour, man, I don't know, I feel like they can add some type of incentive to really make you go back in and want to do the playlist again, or at least really play through them, because honestly, once you're done with it, dude, I don't really see a point of doing them again. And then, of course, the final thing that was advertised and basically shown a lot for Season 8, besides the customization, like the stancing and wheels, and then finally the new playlist, we will have the Grand Racing, which is basically the ranked version of it now, as that is the only thing in here. Currently, guys, I am Silver 3. I'm not playing Grand Races a lot, as I'm not a huge fan of it. I might end up going after the wheels and gold, but I'm not really even that too pressed, as I'm not a huge fan of Grand Races. And I will talk about this a bit more in the other video as well, but this is pretty much one of the biggest highlights in this entire update, is basically adding a ranked mode to Grand Racing. Now, if you are into Grand Racing, guys, this is probably going to make you happy, maybe. If you're also a casual racer, I don't know how this will make you, because I think it's going to be very mixed. Again, I will talk about this a bit more, and if I'm being 100% real, though, I never really Grand raced before. I think I stopped like maybe 8 months into the game, as I was kind of bored of it, and now seeing that it's still the same Grand races, but now we have some rewards in there. Like, yeah, we'll give players an incentive to do it. I feel like if you actually want to rank up and stuff, or go after platinum ranks and sweat in the entire part of grand racing, then yes, there is now something here for you. But if you're not into grand racing, well, at least you will now have the playlist and stuff like that. So, like, looking at the update itself, I do honestly have to say I kind of feel like Season 8 was like a filler type of season, as to me, Season 9 definitely seems like the biggest season of what Year 3 really should be, or at least what it should have been, as Season 8 feels like a middle-of-the-year type of update. You guys know what I'm saying? I'm guessing Year 3 wasn't done in the aspect of having the islands and all that stuff, or the track editor, is most likely why we did end up getting this first, but who knows? Either way, though, if you guys are interested in customizing your vehicle, stancing them, adding some wheels, and then doing the new playlist, if you're not really into PvP stuff, I would say that's probably the biggest highlight. One of the funniest things I laughed at with this is we did finally get visual customization. What I mean by that is wheels and stancing and paints, just in case anyone is wondering. Funniest part is you can go stance your car, add some dope wheels to it, and you can barely spawn in and see your friends because these servers don't work, bro. Isn't that wild? Like, yes, you could stance your car and change some wheels and materials, but if you try to join a team or like a crew with your friends, it might not even work. So how can you actually show your new customized vehicle off? Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I don't think it does make that much sense at all. That was something I was thinking about, as everybody's like, yo, what about the servers? Like, yeah, the customization stuff is cool, but if you can barely join a crew and people can barely see you, or you're driving with someone and they disappear, what's the customized vehicle going to look like then? You know what I'm saying? But overall, though, guys, I am curious to know what y'all think about Season 8 in the comments below. Do let me know your thoughts on it. I do feel like, for the most part, people will probably enjoy it for a little bit, but let's be real. This entire Season 8 update, man, is not going to last 4 months. Let's just be honest. Like, it obviously won't. The stancing and customization for wheels is a very good feature that the crew definitely needed, especially considering the crew never actually had that. So it is kind of surprising how this racing game never had proper wheels or materials for them. So that is obviously a good addition to the game, and I feel like that will keep players occupied for a bit. Even though I do admit, I feel like once players start customizing their vehicles, changing their wheels and stancing them and being like, yo, can I show my friend this car? And then go to proceed to try to join their lobby, then they're in, they don't even show up, or you can't see them, or they disappear and stuff. I feel like players are going to get even more frustrated. Like, yeah, we could change our wheels, but can we see our friends? You know what I'm saying? And then the other side of that, you will also have ranked grand races as well, which I feel like will have a very mixed bag of opinions. Honestly, I can definitely see why, for that matter. Overall, though, guys, I would say Season 8 for me is definitely a filler type of season, as I think Season 9 is really the true big Year 3 update, and I feel like that's probably what they were aiming for. Do let me know your thoughts on Season 8 in the comments below. I am curious, and I would probably say many players are most likely on the same track of this stuff. And don't get me wrong, again, the new playlist is great, but honestly, we kind of need more playlists, or at least smaller ones with events and stuff, or even like a small incentive somewhere to keep you going back to the playlist that makes you want to do it, instead of like oh, I did this in 1 hour and now what type of thing. To be honest, I feel like that's one of the biggest flaws with the playlist, and the fact that they add one every few months honestly doesn't really work that well.